you won't commit to follow this court order.
By the way, he identified
Madam Secretary,
himself.
I reclaim my time. Stop filibustering. Stop filibustering.
Surrounded by gang members of MS-13.
Will you give Mr. Abrego Garcia the due process that the Supreme Court and Judge Wilkinson has required you to give him?
So yesterday on Capitol Hill, Congressman Dan Goldman put on his best dramatic reading of the Gang Member Redemption Act. He waved court rulings like props, shouted about due process, and then got smacked down politely by DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, who, unlike Goldman, actually read the ruling. What happened next? Pure political demolition. Let's roll it.
Supreme Court has ruled 9-0. 9-0 that he hasn't been treated appropriately. Why is your opinion better and have more authority than the Supreme Court?
Investigators, 2 judges, an immigration court that all said he was MS-13 and was removed from this country.
But you understand, that is you saying that. That is you saying that.
That is them saying that. This
no.
is investigators and law
that is you making that determination.
Built against him. If you don't trust
the court has considered all that. The judge has considered all that, Madam Secretary.
If
you would be quiet, because I'm reclaiming my time, you are not following this court order. But let's focus on the court order, because this opinion also says that to facilitate, which the Supreme Court is requiring, is an active verb. It requires that steps be taken. What steps have you taken to return Mr. Abrego Garcia to allow him to get due process?
Abrego Garcia is in his home country.
What steps have you taken?
If your continued advocacy for him were to...
I'm not advocating for him. I'm advocating for a court order, Madam Secretary. The court order says that you must take steps to follow the court order. You are here under oath. What steps have you taken to return Mr. Abrego Garcia pursuant to this court order?
It's got to be extremely discouraging to be one of your constituents. To see you fight for a terrorist like this and not fight for them is extremely alarming.
Dan Goldman doesn't want a hearing. He wants a performance review from The View. He shows up with Supreme Court quotes he barely understands, interrupts every answer, and demands Kristi Noem give him the ending he wrote in his little activist notebook. Sorry, Dan, this isn't a Brooklyn wine bar. It's a congressional hearing. He kept screeching about due process like he's the founding father of MS-13's Legal Defense Fund. But here's what he left out. The Supreme Court didn't order DHS to bring anyone back. They said facilitate the return if El Salvador wants to send him. If. That's a big, fat conditional, Congressman. But that nuance doesn't fit on a bumper sticker, does it? And Noem? She sat there like a sniper in a suit, calm, collected, and just dropping constitutional truth bombs on Goldman's emotional wreckage. While he was playing moral high ground, she was actually standing on it. And here's the best part. Noem flat out said Goldman was fighting for a terrorist instead of his own constituents. And you know what? She's right, because what Goldman did in that hearing wasn't oversight. It was a sympathy parade for MS-13, and that's exactly what it is. Bullshit. He says she's filibustering. You invited her to speak, then cut her off like a toddler who didn't like the answer. If anyone's filibustering, it's the guy yelling, "Reclaiming my time," every 12 seconds like a broken Roomba in a courtroom. This wasn't about due process. This was about Dan Goldman auditioning for TikTok. He wants you to believe that if you don't cry over MS-13 deportations, you're un-American. Meanwhile, when it came time to vote for the Laken-Riley Act, a bill to detain violent criminal illegals, Goldman and every single Democrat voted no. So yeah, spare us the soapbox, Dan. You're not a constitutional defender. You're just another coastal elitist with a law degree and a martyr complex. So there you have it. If you're sick of lawmakers using hearings as audition tapes, if you're tired of fake outrage from people who clearly didn't read the rulings they're quoting, and if you're done watching Republicans get smeared for following the law, then hit that like button. It tells the algorithm we're not backing down. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my next rant, and share this with someone who thinks Dan Goldman's a congressman, not Rachel Maddow in a cheaper suit. And for more truth, fire, and yes, sarcasm, go to steadfastandloyal.com. We don't do cover-ups. We don't do spin. We tell it like it is, every single day. As always, Stay informed, stay free, and stay steadfast and loyal. I'm Jimmy Parker. Thanks for joining us.